Okay, so for my current sprint, I was able to still create more classes, enable the diver to view all current artifacts that have been retrieved, just for the database to set up the player to save information to the database. Also have the diver be able to successfully move past the creature once the diver has been able to successfully enter the correct answer for the question, and I was able to update information from the database. So I'm just going to show you basic walkthrough of how the functionality of the prototyping of the first level and how that's going to work out with, and I'll just talk more about the backend information just connecting to the server to the database. So I still have it to where the user has to put like, any string in at a certain point, just showing a demo of how everything's still going to work. Once you click the play button, then the user is now able to swim down to the second area. And once the user hits that, then the artifact answer will pop up at the top. So now there's more reference versus just seeing it down here at the output. Here, once the user hits this, then I don't have it to where at this point the 70% checks for the answer at this point, but I also just want to show that functionality of once the user has inputted the answer, it's just a quick view of how the game is supposed to look afterwards. So now the creature is basically gone after the user goes through that question J frame. The creature is gone, so now the user will be able to just like go past and move to the quote unquote the next level. So I just wanted to show that functionality, although I didn't have that much time to finish little small features of the game. I still wanted to show that the creature would be able to move away and that the user should be able to just like move past this level and ideally move on to the next level, and then it'll still update and save that diver's depth. So basically moving on to the back end of everything, I'll just run this again, but I'll just run this again just to make sure you see it. But in terms of just like showing what I can retrieve from the database, I basically created a database manager here, and I'm just able to connect to my Water Wars database and connect to like my player table and my high score table. Um, I still was just working on updating some of the high score methods and everything. I just didn't have enough time just to implement everything, but I still also wanted to just to show that like once I instantiate this class, that I'm able to print out what's currently in the database. So this in my user class, basically, or my player class, I have three separate columns. It's like an ID column, username and password. And these are the two records so far that I have in my database that I can print out to this output from my database. And I can just show here that within the database, these are the two records that I have so far. And the way that I do that is I use my database manager class here, and within this within this show table player, I'm able to just query and just print out from here. And within my app delegate view, I was able just to instantiate this database view just to show that I'm able to at least I'm able to connect to the Water Wars database. So this is basically the only class that I added just to add the functionality of the back end and front end, and with further developing the application just to see how everything would go. Um, Also cleaned up a little bit of things within my game screen. Just added more functionality to when the user is able to um, view my J frame. I just added more functionality to that, so the questions JFrame would pop up, also adding another functionality with the creature disappearing at the same time. So I added more functionality to that. And for the most part, I was just mainly working on the back end, just setting things up. If I would have had a little bit more time, I would have been able to add more functionality to the front end too, and connecting to the back end of the database. But I feel like I, just tried to show as much as I could with connecting to MySQL. These are pretty much still the same. Yes. So this is pretty much what I have for my final sprint submission. I just wanted to show, the overall functionality of the first level, and hopefully I was able to represent that within this current sprint.